in the Mix with Chris Rock.
I'm Alec Baldwin. I'm here with the gorgeous Gina.
I'm Larry King, and you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Kelly Ripa, and you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Matt Lauer, and you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Kathy Lee. And I'm Hoda. And you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Bethany Frankel, and you're watching In the Mix.
In the Mix.
Welcome to this episode of In the Mix here at the legendary Cutting Room in Midtown Manhattan, 32nd Street and Park Avenue. I'm your host, Gina Jordan. Well, we have a great show lined up for you today. In fact, if you dig music, we have a fantastic show lined up for you today. One of our favorite segments that we do here on In the Mix is called Artist of the Week. And in this episode, we're going to be featuring a band from the Bronx, born and bred in New York, Sweet Cyanide. Yeah. In the Mix recently followed Sweet Cyanide across country to the Buffalo Chip Festival, where we learned all the backstage antics. Now, before we talk to Sweet Cyanide right here in this studio later in the show, we want to give you a little backstory on South Dakota, the city of Sturgis, and the annual Buffalo Chip Festival. Plus, we go one-on-one with several of the artists who headline this season. Sturgis is home to one of the biggest motorcycle rallies in the world. More than 500,000 people attend each year. This year marks the 73rd annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. There is one destination just outside the center of Sturgis where millions of bikers who attend the rally call home. It's the legendary Buffalo Chip Campgrounds and Music Festival. Thanks to the Chip founder, Rod, aka Woody Woodruff, a former criminal attorney, the Buffalo Chip has expanded into a world-famous motorcycle campground, competition, and music festival that attracts more than 100,000 attendees each year. 1981 was the very first inaugural event. This year marks the 32nd annual Buffalo Chip Motorcycle and Music Festival. Over the years, several legendary artists have performed live at the Chip. Aerosmith, Bob Dylan, Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper, Boston, Sheryl Crow, Cher, Motley Crue, and many more. I'm in the mix with Woody. Woody, the famous Woody of the Buffalo Chip Festival. So is it more Rod or more Woody?
More Woody.
More Woody? How did you come up with doing a music festival?
Sturgis wanted to get rid of their rally, tired of having bikers come into town, and we heard about that, and we thought, why don't we just have a little party out in the country someplace? So we went looking for a place that had a natural amphitheater because music and fun goes together, right? But it isn't just the music here, that's the thing. I mean, it's the camaraderie, it's all these people, all of them being nice.
So you're just gonna keep doing this? As many, just gonna keep going? Another 30 years?
27 at least, because I'm making plans for the 100.
It's no surprise when anyone mentions the Chip, there is one legendary Southern rock band that fans want to see perform year after year, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Despite a tragic plane crash on October 20th, 1977, that took the lives of lead singer Ronnie Van Zant, Steve Gaines, and sister Cassie Gaines, the sound of Lynyrd Skynyrd lives on today, 30-plus years later, with two of the surviving members, Gary Rossington and Ricky Medlock. ITM went one-on-one with Gary and Ricky, who revealed why these days their life touring on the road is very different than way back when. A song like Freebird or A Sweet Home Alabama, do you still get a tingle when you perform that for a crowd this big?
We feed off the crowd, and they sing it and dance and smile and do all kinds of stuff. So it's just fun watching them, you know. Now, in the old days were a little different, but now it's just like a party out there. It's really cool.
Basically, we're about 3 generations into fans anymore, you know, and which is an amazing thing for us. We see parents, and we see their parents, and then those parents have kids, and those kids have kids, and it just goes to show you how magical the music is. The music is everything with the group. The music will always be here long after we're gone, that's for sure. And we're just happy that we've been a part, especially Gary, been a part of such great tunes, and he was one of the founding guys, and I was there for a short time in the early days, and I'm just glad to be a part of this now again, and it's a great honor.
When you say to be a part of it again, you came back in the late 90s and started performing again?
Actually, I came back in 96 after he offered me a Snickers bar and $1.50, but
is that all it took?
Yeah, that's it, man.
Was it a frozen Snickers bar?
No, it was a fresh one.
Florida, so it was melted a little bit.
When it comes to inspirations and music now that's out there, some of the new artists, anybody that we'd be surprised to hear that you listen to on your iPod, perhaps?
Well, I like blues, Kev Moe and a lot of blues cats and Gary Clark Jr. and Bonamassa and all them guys.
I'm into Joe Bonamassa. And we've known him since he was a young guy. And I'm into him. I'm into still a lot of the classic guys like Hendrix and Clapton and Jeff Beck and, things like that. Although I do listen to a lot of stuff, the newer stuff that came up. And Chris Cornell's like one of my favorite singers and, the bands that he's been associated with. But that's really about it. I mean, I think the classic rock stuff has come back so strong.
Do you? You think it's come back? We need more of a rock and roll comeback.
Well, I'll give you an example. We just finished a run with us and Bad Company, and it was monster. It was huge. And
still like old rock and roll, that's the thing.
A lot of times the younger generation, younger adults, they get tired of hearing the same old thing on the radio, And I think they go back to the classics because the classics were so different. The songs were different and the musicianship was different. You know what I mean?
So you're about to perform in front of all these people. You guys look very calm. How do you get psyched up before a show? Because they're just about to get out there on stage in front of about 50,000 people.
I'm already psyched up, can't you tell?
This is what you got to do instead of get all nervous. We found that it's better to stay calm and then take it out on stage.
This special is about being on the road and musicians like yourself, and we've been asking a lot of musicians. It's not always as glamorous. We've heard it all in the past few days. Obviously, the two of you have had some time on the road.
I don't know. There's been too many to choose. There's so many people and bikers and personalities and crazy people and cool people.
And lots of boobs.
Lots of booze.
Enjoy that.
Booze and bikes.
This was a dry county.
We don't drink as much as we used to, so that's all I'll say.
As long as we've been in this business, nothing surprises us.
You got to think about it. For 30 or 40 years, we've been doing this. Been denied in jail a few times because of a lot of reasons, so.
We used to fight a lot, but we can't anymore because our hands hurt.
There's no stopping these rock and roll Hall of Famers who are already booked to perform at the Chip next year. The festival kicks off August 1st, 2014.
Thank you, Woody. We love you, Bubba.
Yeah, brother.
Still to come, more on-the-road antics at the Buffalo Chip Festival with Madison Rising, Sublime, and from the Doors, Robby, Krieger. Plus, we go one-on-one right here in the studio with New York's favorite rock band, Sweet Cyanide. Don't move.
In the mix.
Just point.
With nowhere to
Just draw.
to turn.
Just share.
You saw me
As you naturally would.
and showed me
Just point.
how much I still
Just draw.
have to learn.
Just share.
And the odds
Smart. Inspired by you. LG Cinema 3D Smart TV.
This episode of In the Mix is presented by LG. Life's good. This episode of In the Mix is catered by Delmonico's Kitchen, located at 207 West 36th Street and 7th Avenue in New York City. Welcome back to this episode of In the Mix here at the legendary Cutting Room, located in Midtown Manhattan. I'm your host, Gina Jordan, bringing you all of the rock star antics from the legendary Buffalo Chip Festival in Sturgis, South Dakota. Oh, but wait a minute. Now hold on. Before we get to the Buffalo Chip Festival, I think that's Sal and Angelo from Sweet Cyanide who are going to be on the set later, feasting on our 5-star catering from Delmonico's Kitchen. Save me a sandwich, okay? Here we are at the 32nd annual Sturgis Buffalo Chip. Now, several artists are performing this year at the festival, including Sweet Cyanide, Lynyrd Skynyrd, and Rob Zombie. But there's one band that was inspired to actually create a new version of the Star Spangled Banner, and they're performing here for the first time ever, Madison Rising. Daybreak is Madison Rising, and we're here at the 32nd annual Buffalo Chip. This is Madison Rising's first time performing at the Chip.
Right.
And Lynyrd Skynyrd is on right after you, so that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, Brantley Gilbert's coming up, Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's going to be a great, great show tonight.
What inspired you to create that patriotic theme in your music and in everything that you do?
Well, like you said, we're a pro-American patriotic rock band. That's pretty much our shtick. That's what we do. I served myself. I'm a Navy vet, Marine Corps vet.
Yes. You have an incredible following, Star Spangled Banner, the video, which is absolutely beautiful. Congratulations. I love the version of the song. Could you give us a little history of how that song came about?
Sure. It was actually on a no-fly zone list. We were supposed to not touch it. We were afraid of the sort of the ripple effect that would come back on us, and we didn't want to step on any toes or cross that line of reverence. And I kind of took it on myself to really dive in and get down to what that song meant, and try to feel as much emotionally as I could behind it.
Tell these people what it's really like on the road. It's not glamorous.
It's brutal. It's a brutalitarian life and existence. I can tell you, like, bad diet, bad food. Did they say that Sam got 2 tickets on the way here within 1 hour?
No, but that's a good one.
It's a good one. So we're cruising into Sturgis. First guy pulls us over, just right out of Wyoming. He's like, "Hey man, I gotta give you a ticket." We're like, "Man, come on, pro-American rock band here." Trying to pull the cards, didn't work. And then we got, less than an hour down the road, we got nailed with another ticket.
So how much was the ticket? Did you see?
I think like maybe 90.
If you're watching, maybe put a little fund together for some of these tickets.
Right.
Help them out.
We're so gallantly streaming.
On May 26, 1996, the ska punk band Sublime suffered a tragic loss when the lead singer Bradley Nowell died of a heroin overdose just a week after he got married, 11 months after his son was born, 2 months before Sublime's third self-titled album was released and went 5 times platinum. Nowell never lived to experience mainstream success. Today's Sublime hits What I Got and Santeria live on. In 2010, the original bassist Eric Wilson, lead singer Rome Ramirez, and drummer Josh Freese formed Sublime With Rome. ITM connected with the band backstage just minutes before they received a revved-up welcome from thousands of fans and performed live on the main stage.
I don't practice Santeria. I ain't got no crystal ball.
Is it true that you guys rode on your cycles and you rode out here alongside your RV?
He did. I was swerving back and forth trying to run them off the road most of the time.
They were behind us, chasing us with their bikes.
How long have you guys been on the road right now?
5 weeks or so.
That's a long time.
Yeah, not too bad.
So
not one of the old
Who is each of you missing right now?
Everybody I'm missing is here right now.
I miss my boy, of course.
Aww. Do you still have fun playing music? Is that?
Of course.
Yes?
Unless we're sucking.
When we suck, it's not very fun.
That doesn't happen. Come on. Nobody would agree. Your fans wouldn't agree with you.
The more shows that we play and the longer tours, the more perfection and get, the better.
You guys gel better when you play more and you're on the road for a longer period of time?
We play every day. We play almost flawless, every night.
Do you guys fight on the road? Do you argue,
On
bicker?
stage, usually we get in some fist fights once in a while.
Throw things at each other.
Fight over girlfriends.
You fight over girlfriends? You'd be like wanting to date his girlfriend? Or
Like if someone's not going to share and they're being greedy with their girlfriend
Fight
or
over
wife.
other people's girlfriends up in front.
So being on the road is not as glamorous, would you guys say, as some people make it out to be? Like the movie Almost Famous?
It could be like that for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it can be. It goes up and down,
On stage, that's when it's worth everything, That's what it's all about.
You said it. when he's having fun playing music,
everything
right?
else is downtown. Hurry up and wait.
Speaking of a rock song that lives on, it was almost 50 years ago The Doors released their self-titled debut LP, the first in a series of top 10 albums created in the mid-60s till Jim Morrison's death in '71. The Doors guitarist and vocalist Robby Krieger is still rockin' at 67 years young. The Rolling Stones 100 Greatest Guitarists of All Time wrote several of the Doors' classic legendary songs, including Light My Fire, Love Her Madly, and Love Me Two Times, all songs that he performed live with his band at the Chip this year. What brings you out to the Chip? Because clearly you could perform anywhere in the world.
I was here way back in 1990 when they first started having concerts here with Eric Burden, and we had a blast, you know. And this is the next time, so it's been a few years.
What type of performance should we expect this evening, sir?
That's a good question. Actually, we've got kind of a new band. It's called Robby Krieger's Jam Kitchen. You know what a jam band is?
I do.
Well, this is not a jam. No, it's sort of a jam band, but we do a lot of improvising, and you know, we'll do some Doors songs too, of course. But sorry about that.
Fell. That was a ghost. There's a few ghosts that could be following me around. I don't know about you. But.
Yeah, I could have some too. In fact, my partner, Ray Manzarek, is now a ghost, unfortunately. He passed away about 3 months ago.
I dedicate the set to Ray Manzarek. Let's hear it for Ray Manzarek.
Sorry to hear that,
yeah.
by the way. I know he's a good friend of yours, but some good came out of that. You recently came together with another band member, right?
That's true, yeah. I guess it took Ray passing on for John and I to get back together.
What is one memory that you think of? Do you dream about things? Is there one memory that sticks with you?
About Ray?
Yeah.
You know, for years we didn't play together. You know, after the Doors was done with, I went on my solo thing. He was doing his thing. John was doing other things. And you know, I was doing more or less jazz and fusion and stuff. And little by little I started, people keep asking me for Doors songs, you know, so I started doing more and more Doors songs. And then one day I asked Ray if he wanted to go out and play again, you know, as the Doors. And this was about 12 years ago. So for the last 12 years we've been playing, you know, Doors music.
Very special. I'm sure many fans appreciate that.
Yeah.
Is there a song that is requested the most?
Oh, probably Light My Fire. Light My Fire.
Which you wrote.
I did write, and yeah, Ray gets to really show off on that one, so that was one of his favorites too.
As a writer myself, I love to know where your mind was at when you wrote that song. Was it a coherent mind? Is that the key? You don't want to be coherent?
Believe it or not, that was the first song I wrote for the Doors. I wanted it to be something like different than what we had done before. Up until then, it was mostly blues kind of stuff, you know. So I wanted to be something different, and so I just tried to make up the weirdest chords that I knew, and out came Light My Fire.
What's it like when you were on the road, say, with the Doors?
As opposed to now?
As opposed to now.
Well, it was a whole different deal back then, you know. It's like we didn't have tour buses, or we didn't have sound systems, you know. It's like very, you know, we would fly into a place and just hope for the best, you know. And, you know, now everything is so organized and pre-planned, and it's a whole different deal. But, you know, music is music, so, you know, it's always fun.
Sure. Are the girls different on the road back then than they were now?
Oh, God.
More groupies then? Less groupies then?
I would say they were just a little less sophisticated back then. You know, they were, but they were cool. You know, after Jim Morrison died, I figured, well, that's it. Nobody else will think about the Doors. You know, I got to go do something else, you know. And people just never forget about the music, and that's the cool thing. If you have some really good music, I mean, look at like Bach or somebody like that.
Absolutely.
They're still doing that stuff, you know. And I think rock and roll is the same. It will live forever.
Long live rock and roll. Long live rock and roll. All right, thank you, sir, for being here with us. It was my absolute pleasure. Oh, I love this. Mwah. Still to come, we've got New York City's favorite rock band, Sweet Cyanide. They'll be right here on set. When we come back, don't move.
In the mix.
Just point.
With nowhere to love
Just move.
to turn.
Just share.
You saw me
As you naturally would.
and showed me
Just point.
how much I still
Just move.
have to learn.
Just share.
And the
Smart. Inspired by you. LG Cinema 3D Smart TV.
This episode of In the Mix is presented by LG. Life's good.
In the mix.
Welcome back to this episode of In the Mix here at the legendary Cutting Room, located in Midtown Manhattan at 32nd and Park Avenue. I'm your host, Gina Jordan, and we've been bringing you all the rock star on-the-road antics from the legendary Buffalo Chip Music Festival in Sturgis, South Dakota. Now, we just went one-on-one with some of the legendary rock stars that performed at the Chip this season. Lynyrd Skynyrd, From the Doors, Robby, Krieger, Sublime, and Madison Rising. But it's this band all the way from the Bronx that gets the royal treatment when they're at the Chip.
Please welcome to the legendary Buffalo Chip, Sweet Cyanide.
Yeah, even the festival founder, Woody, says Sweet Cyanide is a must-see. The band is part of the annual festival experience.
There's some acts that you just feel have some special magic, and you want to share that, and you want to allow that to be shared with the audience.
Before the Bronx-born band Sweet Cyanide ripped it up at the Chip, lead singer Sal Skoka
It's gonna be an all-week party with Sweet Cyanide.
and bassist Angelo Ferriello
Punch you, I'll smack you.
made a name for themselves in a band called Crashbox.
holding you down, watching you drown.
In 2009, Sal, Angelo, and the rest of the band formed Sweet Cyanide, who recently hit the rock charts this year with a track off their self-titled third album, In My World. This season, In the Mix hit the road with Sweet Cyanide to capture all the behind-the-scenes action at the Buffalo Chip Festival.
All right, so it's morning on. We have a show.
Sweet Cyanide was the only band that headlined on the main stage twice this year. The band's second performance for the week turned out to be a major challenge when a black South Dakota storm cloud threatened to kill the show.
Put it back over there behind everything where it's not going to get wet. Get out this way.
They may cut the set a little bit, or they may be a total loss, but we'll see what happens. You gotta be kidding me. The tarps are gone.
Sweet Cyanide didn't let the hail stop them from entertaining the masses and proved to be one of their most powerful, unforgettable performances of all time.
We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Now in New York City, these guys are well known, but when it comes to the Chip, they get treated like rock royalty. Put your hands together for Sal and Angelo from Sweet Cyanide. Woo! Yeah. First of all, thanks so much for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you guys here in New York City. Is it good to be home?
It feels good.
It's fall in New York.
Fall is beautiful in New York.
It's our pleasure here at In the Mix to feature your music because you guys rock. You're absolutely awesome.
Oh, stop.
We loved your performance. Season 1 on In the Mix, the Sex, Love, and Cyanide song, which was killer. Sweet Cyanide actually created the theme song to In the Mix, which is one of the best theme songs I've ever heard. I feel very fortunate to have the In the Mix theme song created by Sweet Cyanide. I hear that your mom, Maria Skoka, is a big fan of the In the Mix show. What is that about exactly?
She's a fan. She loves the show. She actually tapes it on her VHS tapes every week. Oh, look, there she goes. Hey, Mom. See, my mom actually thinks I'm a doctor. So this is gonna break her heart to find out that I'm in a band, but there she goes.
Mama Skoka, thank you for watching.
She has viewing groups, actually. It's a little In the Mix block party in the Bronx.
We're grateful that Maria and all the Skokas and all the Fariellos watch In the Mix.
A lot of friends watch it to see my puppy that I got him on your show.
That's right.
That's how he was brought into the world.
That's right. You adopted Butch, season 1 In the Mix. Right. Because you just fell in love with that puppy, which was so cute. And Howard Stern's wife, Beth Stern, the lovely Beth Stern, came on the show, and you walked away adopting a dog. You fell in love with Butch.
I did.
How is Butch?
He's good. He's a lot bigger now and has eaten the majority of my apartment, but I love him.
Butch is going to be a player. Is that what we're
Butch already is a player.
He's studying to be a romancer like his father.
I'm actually taking tips from him, from the dog, because he gets more girl attention than I do.
And you have a dog too, right?
So I have a little Jack Russell Terrier, or Jack Russell Terror. He's 12. His name is Sunday. He's cool. He's my little man. Sweet
Cyanide is a band that's born and bred in the Bronx. You perform a lot in New York City. So what made you start to perform at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip Festival?
I think it was one of the places that we hit years ago when Sweet Cyanide first came together. And it's just a place that we really do well at, and people take to us extremely well. So we keep going back. I mean, this is our 4th year that we were there, and every year just keeps getting crazier and bigger and better. Taking it back for the first year that we were there, we had played with Guns N' Roses, Three Doors Down, Alice in Chains, then the following year Def Leppard and Buck Cherry, then Boston Slash.
Do you guys have any favorite performances from your most recent headlining performances out there this season?
We were discussing what we were going to do this year, and there's such a pro-American, which we are, very pro-American, this pro-American vibe going into Sturgis that it's infectious. So since I was a child, I wanted to wear a cape. I wanted to wear my bat cape to elementary school, but my mother said no. I wanted to wear my Superman cape to high school. She said no. And I said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to wear my cape at Sturgis. And they all said
no.
They said don't do it. But I hid it on the side of the stage, and the song came on. It's called American Me. It's one of our first singles. And I put the cape on, and I came running out on stage, and everybody loved it. And it was a hit. It was a cool moment. It was definitely a highlight for me because just the response that I got was fantastic. I can't really say if it was a highlight for the fellas in the band, but I mean, it was.
Anytime the crowd gets engaged and I feel their energy, it's a highlight.
We would love to hear some of Sweet Cyanide's on the road, backstage stories, so to speak.
I mean, we've had buses break down. Last year, our bus broke down on the way home, and we were pretty much living in the desert.
How did you guys get back?
We actually had a fly back,
We had to abandon our bus and hop on a plane last minute.
It was pretty nightmarish. I mean, we swore at the end of that trip that we weren't going to do it ever again, and we did it again, and it was worth doing it again, and we will probably end up doing it again.
When anybody talks about being on the road and being a rock star, is it as glamorous as it looks to your fans?
No, it's definitely not. There's a lot of, it's hard work.
I mean, it's not ditch digging or picking up the garbage per se, but it's work.
It's work, but it's the kind of work that I don't really consider work, you know what I mean?
Right.
So what is up and coming for you guys?
We're locking in a bunch of really cool festivals for the new year. We will be recording 2 records, not 1. 2 records, 10 songs each. Right. Albums are back in style, so we're pressing the vinyl, so you could actually have the album art and all that good stuff.
Very cool. You guys all seem like you were having fun
at the
festival.
It was all an act. We're very good at putting on our game faces. No, we had a good time. It's definitely, it's a fun place to be. And just traveling as a band is very cool. It's something that if you're young and you want to be in a band, it's something that you'd want to experience for yourself.
So log on to sweetcyanide.com for everything Sweet Cyanide to find out all their upcoming performances. We also hear that Sal Skoka's Instagram page is quite entertaining. Angelo's, I'm sure, is entertaining as well, so go and check those out. Thank you so much, guys, for being guests today on In the Mix. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the mix. Woo!
You guys are family. You guys are my very big extended family.